Hey guys, and welcome to this video where I'm going to explain what the difference between an F1 and an F1B Aussiedoodle is, and which one is better for you, which one do you want, which one should you need, which one... What are more questions I can ask? The difference is really not that hard. The F1 is the first generation Aussiedoodle, meaning that it's the puppy or the child from a purebred poodle and a purebred Australian Shepherd, and those are considered the P generation or the parent generation, and the first puppy they make together is the F1, the first generation Aussiedoodle. But now, what does the F1B stand for? What does it mean? It's really not that hard. I'll show you a graph right now so you can understand it a little bit better. But the F1B just means that you have a first generation Aussiedoodle and you breed that one back to a different poodle, and that makes F1B Aussiedoodle puppies. And these are not 50-50 Australian Shepherd and Poodle, but these are more of they're more unpredictable than the first generation, because the first generation is 50-50, but the F1B is generally more Poodle, because it's half of the puppy is going to be Poodle and the other half is going to be half of the Aussiedoodle, and half of the Aussiedoodle means it can be half of the Aussiedoodle means that the F1B is going to be generally 75% Poodle and 25% Australian Shepherd. But it doesn't always have to be like this. It can also be different and vary. It depends on how the genes are passed on to the puppies. Now, if you're wondering what the coat is going to be like on an F1 or F1B, and do they shed, or is the F1B better for shedding, and do they shed less? Okay, so the first generation is going to be a mixture of the Shepherd and the Poodle, and the Poodle has very curly coat, meaning that if they shed hairs, they're going to get caught in their curly coat. Try to say that lots of times behind each other. The hairs are going to get caught in the curly coat, meaning that the Poodle does still shed, but because of the curly coat, the hairs get caught and they don't fall to the floor, meaning that it seems like they don't shed as much as any other breed would. The Australian Shepherd has a straight coat, meaning that the hairs shed and can fall off more easily, but the Australian Shepherd also sheds seasonally, meaning that generally the Aussiedoodle first generation, if you take a 50-50 of that, it can be anywhere in between those two, and you don't really know what you're getting, but most of the time they're going to have a wavy coat, which can catch, some of the hairs that are falling, but not necessarily all of them, and it's kind of, a surprise really what you get. But most of the time they're low shedding to no shedding. At the start, I know my first generation Aussiedoodle, he lost his puppy coat, so at the start when he was still young, he was still losing a lot of hair, but now he's shedding less and less as the weeks and months go by. Now, if you're wondering if the F2 doodles shed, I'm going to show you a graph here. So the F2 means the second generation, and here you can see how the genes from an F2 doodle could really be passed on. It's really a mixture. It can be anywhere from almost totally Poodle to almost totally the Australian Shepherd, and it can be 50-50, it can be really anything. Meaning that if you want to get a puppy that has the highest potential to be low shedding and have the curliest coat possible, I would get an F2 and pick the curliest puppy from the litter. But even then, it doesn't mean that they don't shed or they shed less than an F1B. it really all depends on the genes, and lots of the times, even as a small puppy, you can't see if they're gonna have a really curly coat or what it's gonna be like. So it's really a luck thing how your puppy's gonna turn out later on. So between choosing the different F1, F1B, F2 doodle, it really doesn't matter that much. So if I were you, I got an F1 because that's the most predictable one, because you know it's going to be half-half, and it's most likely or always going to result in some sort of wavy coat, which comes from taking a straight and a curly one, and then you get a wavy coat. Yeah, and then there's still the F2 doodle. I'm going to put another graph here so you can quickly see what this means. It's pretty simple. You take an F1B Aussiedoodle and an F1 Aussiedoodle, and then you get the F2B Aussiedoodle. And then there's still F3 and multi-generational, hybrid, and those are highly unpredictable. You don't really know what you're getting when you get one of these, and most people don't even, you know, breed up to this point because it's just too unpredictable to know what you're getting and what you're not getting. And if you're wondering if any of these doodles can have papers at the moment, all hybrid dogs or mutts or, you know, mixtures of different dogs are not purebred. So any dog that's not purebred doesn't get papers, but maybe that's something that's gonna exist in the future, but at the time of this recording it doesn't. And if you, I don't know why you would want papers really, only if you want to enter your dog into a show or yeah, to breed maybe. Okay, anyway, so that was F1, F1B, F2, F2B doodles, and I hope you learned something. I hope you maybe know which one you want to get, and if you have any questions you can ask me in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have, and if you want to see more Aussiedoodle content you can subscribe here, and I hope to see you in the future in my next videos. Bye!